mad or something? Y'all just
No,
just being introverted today? Is that what it is?
I just don't have much to say personally.
Okay. We ought to sing a song. We ought to all sing together. I'm having some technical issues. If I don't speak, I'm not ignoring you. Thank you, Miss Wilson, for interacting by secondary means. We have people in here that don't want to interact by primary means. But I appreciate you, taking the secondary route and interacting with me.
Beggars can't be choosers.
I tell you, I'm begging. Yes, I'm begging. I'll have to do a classroom sing-along. All right, so let me look. I doubt very seriously that y'all sent me any questions because y'all don't interact. So, no, you didn't.
Well, we didn't have any homework last week. We went over exponents.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and finish exponents so I can hurry up and throw a test at you right quick that you're going to fail. How about that?
I'm not ready.
All right. Let's go to my handy dandy whiteboard that I seem to not be able to see right now. There it is. And get the Math 120 stuff off of here. And let's make it big. And let's put a problem on the board and do it. So 50 times 10 to the 6th power multiplied by 2 times 10 to the 3rd power. All right, so I want y'all to do it all the way through and make sure that you put the answer in scientific notation. And I'm going to put the timer on you. So that will add some more stress to you. Anything to, make you quit. There we go. So I'm going to give you a minute. You should be able to do it in a minute. And if you can't do it in a minute, then we all know what that means. What does that mean, people?
We're going to fail.
That's it. That you are a failure, and you're probably going to fail and drop out and live in a box in a ditch.
Tell me something I don't know.
Huh?
I mean, you're right.
Or down by the river. You're going to live in a van down by the river.
Well, that's an upgrade, really.
And be a motivational speaker. Some of these other people don't even know what I'm talking about. Y'all ever heard of Chris Farley? Get it.
Who?
Who?
No, they won't even. Hell, they don't even say that. They just introverted. Weaned on a pickle. And when y'all have an office in the closet, when you have a closet office, I want you to remember my words. And you're saying, well, you don't have a pretty office. Well, because you're an introvert. That's why. All right, that's a minute and a half. You've had plenty of time to finish this problem. So what's 50 times 2? That's 100. Times 10 to the 6th times 10 to the 3rd. And when we have the same bases and we are multiplying same bases, what do we do to the exponents?
Add.
We add them. So that's 100 times 10 to the 6th plus 3, 100 times 10 to the 9th. The decimal's right there. It needs to be right there. 1.00 times 10 to the 9 blank 2. Which way do we move this decimal in our head to get it back the way it was? To the right. And I guarantee you somebody has to the 7th power. 1 times 10 to the 11th power. Now, I also need to tell you that if you got the right answer by some other means, by some other method, that's fine. If it ain't broke,
Don't fix it.
your parents did well, Miss Grindle. Some of y'all that don't know what I'm talking about, it's your parents' fault. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If you have a way of doing this and you can do it and not screw it up, if you got 1 times 10 to the 11th power, then you are doing okay, because this is one of the most missed problems on a test. And what did you just do? Anybody know what y'all just did? You took 50 million and you multiplied it by 2,000. A lot of people don't know what they're doing here. You took 50 million and you multiplied it by 2,000 and you got 10 trillion, I believe, 10 billion. I believe it's 10 billion. Somebody'd have to look, or 100 billion. Let's write it out and see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. That's a million. 1, 2, 3. That's a billion. 100 billion. So you took 5 million and you multiplied it by 2,000 and you got 100 billion. Trillion. 100 trillion. No billion. Sorry. And you can't say you have to use a calculator to do the multiplication. You don't need a calculator to do multiplication. You just need to know how to do scientific notation. Now, you might need a calculator to multiply 5.3 times 2, which would be 10.6, but, you don't need it. So, anybody got a question on this one? This is a test question right here.
Nope.
I'm going to give you 3 or 4 of these on the test. All right, let's do a nerd. Let's go with, I'm trying to think of a good number, so just hold on. 120 times 10 to the negative third divided by 2 times 10 to the fifth. All right, give you 2 minutes, because this is division, and some of y'all, freak out with division. So I'm going to give you an extra minute. I probably won't. I'll probably end up giving you 2.5 minutes. I'm such a softie. I would probably just go ahead and quit if I was y'all, because that's too complicated. Gas keeps creeping up. I went to get some diesel the other day, and it's up to $2.40. It's done gone up like 50 cents in the last 3 months, 2 months. But oh, it's all right. Them people in DC, they're getting rich, so as long as they get rich, making deals with Middle East and Ukraine, that's all that matters. Shut up, Hubert.
I mean, you right though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, what?
You're right.
Well, you closed down the
I said you right.
You shut down the 2 pipelines that come in from Alaska and Canada, and make deals with, Iran and Ukraine.
Because he's retarded.
Why would you do that? to get the money, the kickbacks. That's why. Okay, that's close to 2 minutes. And I'm not going to give you any more because I want you to fail. So I'm not going to give you 230. All right, so here we go. 120 divided by 2. Now, you should not need a calculator for that. That's 60. If you need a calculator for that, we need to have prayer meeting. Times 10 to the negative 3 minus 5. And somebody's going to mess that up. 60 times 10 to the negative 8. You owe $3. You owe $5. What's the outcome of owing $3 and owing $5? You owe 8.
You owe 8.
So go ahead and get the erasers out and change that for the 2 or 3 that, you know, broke an anvil with a banana. Go ahead and fix it. Now we're going to move that decimal one place. So that's going to be 6.0 times 10 to the negative 8, blank 1. Which way did I move this decimal in my head to get it back the way it was? To the right. So 6.0 times 10 to the negative 7th power. And I guarantee you some of y'all came out with the 9th power and the 6th power and all kinds of weird stuff. Again, that's a question that students miss. And I guarantee you that some of y'all have missed it in the past, and it's not that difficult. You just got to ask yourself that Hubertism question. Which way did I move it in my head to get it back the way it was? Or use your own method, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I don't agree with you, Miss Roberts. I think that there is hope. I think that once ignorant people wise up, I think that I think things will change, but it's going to take a lot of ignorant people wising up. And what I mean by ignorant people, well, there's a lot of people that have no idea what I just said about the 2 pipelines. I guarantee you, let's see, how many people are in this classroom right now? Let's see, there's 18 people in this classroom right now. I guarantee you 15 people don't even know what I'm talking about with the 2 pipelines. I guarantee it because, you know, does the government want you to know a lot or they want you to be stupid? They want you to be stupid. That way they can do whatever they want to. So knowledge is what?
Power.
Power. Knowledge is power. And one day, the 50% of the nation is going to wake up. 50%. Not the 25 Democrats, not the 25 Republicans, but the 50% that pay the bills, they're going to wake up. It might be too late, but they're going to wake up eventually. And when they do, then it's going to be like, what the hell? What are y'all doing? But, and, you know,
I like to think that people are already waking up.
Well, I think they are too. I think they are, and I think by the end of, I think by 2022 and 2024, I think you're going to see a lot of different things happening. All right. So anyway, let's move on. Let's do one that's on a standardized test. This is one that you'll see on a standardized test. 3.0 times 10 to the third plus 5.0 times 10 to the third. And I'll put another one over here. 6.0 times 10 to the negative 2 minus 3.0 times 10 to the negative 2. Now, what's different about these? My black pens are all going in the trash can. What's different about these?
They're already a decimal.
Nope. What's the operation?
Addition.
Adding and what?
Subtracting.
We've been doing multiplication and division. In order to add or subtract, write this down. This is in red. So that means you better write this down and highlight it. In order to add / subtract, scientific notation, you have to have same endings or same exponents. Other than that, you have to either expand them or do it on a calculator. And we're not using a calculator, so that means you're going to have to expand them. So I'm going to take my handy dandy red marker, which means slow down. And are these the same? Yes. Are these the same? Yes.
Yes.
So you can do these two problems. So what do? You just do it. What's 3 plus 5?
8.
And you just bring these down. You'd be surprised on how many people don't know how to do that. What's 6 minus 3?
3.
Oops, sorry. Equals 3.0 times 10 to the negative 2. Now, on the test, I will give you 2 to 3 multiplication, 2 to 3 divisions, and I'll give you one of each of these. Because these, I mean, you don't have to, these are not rocket science. These are pretty simple. What if I give you one that's not the same? Well, then you have to actually either do it on a calculator, which I've not given you the permission to do. Okay, if you're using a calculator to do these problems, you're not only missing the boat, you're missing the train. Okay, the whole purpose of doing these is so you can do them in your head, okay, or on a piece of paper. That's the whole purpose of it. When you get into biology and chemistry, you're going to be using these. All right, so here's one. How about 3.0 times 10 to the 5th or 3rd plus 2.0 times 10 to the 2nd? Well, you can't do it because these do not equal. Okay, so I'm going to draw, I'm going to take a, I don't want it to clash, yellow and blue. I don't like to use pink and orange, they clash. So that's 10 to the 3rd, and this is 10 to the 2nd. And they don't work together. So you're going to have to change these into just regular numbers. So that'd be 1, 2, 3, 3,000 plus what? 1, 2, 200. And you get 3,200. Now you can change that into 3.2 times 10 to the 2nd power. Or I'm going to put this or this, depending on what the directions ask you for. And that's how you do one that's different. So, multiplication, I'll give you three to four questions on the test. Division, I'll give you 3 to 4 questions on the test. Addition and subtraction, you're talking about one of each. And then one that's different, adding and subtracting different, You're talking about 1. So what should you work on for 2.6? Multiplication and division. And any word problem you see in 2.6 homework, I'll put on the test. So let's go to the homework or study plan, and I'll pull those up right quick and you can see what I'm talking about. So let's go to our handy dandy, excuse me, study plan, chapter contents 5.6. And I will tell you right now, 90% or no, 70, maybe to 80% of your test is going to come from 5.1, 5.3, and 5.6. 5.1, 5.3, and 5.6. 5.1, 5.3, and 5.6. That's going to be probably 70% of your test. So I wrote it down for you so you can, there it is right there. 5.1, 5.3, and 5.6 is going to be 70% of your test. Well, here, but what about 5.2? Well, 5.2 is in 5.3, so I'm really not worried about 5.2 because if you don't know how to do 5.2, you're not going to know how to do 5.3. So I'm really not concerned with those problems too much. So that means 30% is going to be 5.2 and 10.1. I never have been able to draw a brace. They all look like Bob Hope profile. I never have been able to draw them things. And of course, y'all don't know who Bob Hope is because your parents don't teach you anything. So anyway, next, let's go to the study plan. And they'll probably put the word problems at the very end. I'm in the wrong class. I suck. I should quit. Live in a ditch down by the river. Okay, this is a new book, so they go with e-context. They change these things between courses, and I don't know what's going on. No, that's not what I want. 5.6. I want the study plan. There we go. And let's see where the word problems start. Okay, I already showed you how to do that one like that one. Okay, that one's a good one, but I want to get to the word problems. These are all good. These are all good questions. Good test questions. Okay, where are the word problems? There we go. In June 2010, the population of a large county, country, whatever, was about 307.5 million. And the population of the world was 6.82 billion. Determine the ratio, poor old ratio, determine the ratio of the country's population to world populations by dividing the country by the world. Okay, it tells you what to do right here. Divide the country by the world. Well, let's write this out in regular notation first. 307,500,000 over 6,820,000,000. All right, that's what basically they're asking for right there. Now I want you to change this into scientific notation. So I want you to put the decimal right there and right there. And then you may need a calculator to do 3.075 divided by 6.82. You may need a calculator for that. And you can do the rest with handy dandy exponents. Okay? So go ahead and do that. I'll give you another minute. I tell you what I wish for. I wish that instead of 2 parties, we had like 5 or 6 parties. I think the worst thing that has happened to this country is that we've only got 2 political parties, and that's it.
Well, I mean, there's a Libertarian Party, but they have no power.
I know. I wish that this is what I wish. I wish that because the Democratic Party has been hijacked by socialists. So I wish that the Democratic Party would break up into the Socialistic Democrat Party and the Democrat Party. And then the Republicans, I wish they would break up into the elite Republicans and the blue collar Republicans. That's what I wish.
I don't think we should have political parties to begin with. They should have never been a thing.
Well, I think it's an organizational thing. That's the only reason we have them. And basically, survival of the fittest is what happened. And the two parties that have survived are the Republican and the Democrat Party.
I mean, they just didn't really care what George Washington said.
I know.
And they don't represent us anymore.
I know that. And they don't live, and what they've done is they fortified themselves in DC. They can do whatever they want. They can't be voted out because the way it works. And now with mail-in voting, you can forget it now. But anyway, I wish I could see one day the 2 parties become 4 because it needs to be done. All right, so
they do just need to go ahead and split.
Say again?
I said, yeah, they do just need to go ahead and just split. And
they do
whatever.
Because they're not the true parties anymore.
Nope.
The Republican Party has become the party of elites and blue collars, and the Democrats are blue collars and socialists.
Yay.
All right, so 3.075 divided by 6.82. And I get 0.45, and I'm going to take it to 4 digits as a general rule in all my classes. I tell all my students to go to 4 digits, unless the directions tell you to go to 5 or 6. I tell all my students to go to 4 because most tests and homework questions will go to the 10th or the 100th. So I tell students to take it to 4 digits. So 0.4509 times 10 to the 8 minus 9. So that's 0.4509 times 10 to the negative 1. And technically, they probably want you to write it. I don't know how they want you to write it. Let's look and see. Let's see what the answer is written as. Type as a decimal, rounded to the nearest thousandth. So I'm going to write this as a decimal. So one place to the left, there's a 0. So 0.04509, which is 0.045, which is 45 thousandths. 45 over 1,000, which is 45 thousandths. Okay, so 0.045 should be your answer. And what you just did, you just took 307.5 million, 307.5 million, and you divided it by 6.82 billion. That's what you just did. And you got 0.045. And you should feel good about yourself. Look there. It's a miracle. All right, try this one. And if it's got a science, any kind of science connotation to it, you know I'm going to put it on there because math and science, they are just like that. So if you go through the homework and there is a science question on there, which that last question technically was science, this one is more science, you can bet your bottom dollar that one's going to be on there.
Mr. McClure, can I see that problem again real quick?
The first one?
Yeah, the one you just did. I didn't finish writing
This
it.
one? You want to see the question or you want to see the explanation?
The explanation that you
Okay,
did.
hold on. Okay, there's the explanation.
Thank you.
And for those of you who want to see the next question, there's the next question. And yes, I'm going to spend probably the rest of the class on these sentence questions because that's the ones that y'all are going to freak out over. So I'm not worried about the
Good.
decimals, percents, 10.1. I'm not worried about that because y'all know how to do that. Change a decimal to a percent, change a percent to a decimal, and then is a percent over 100. I'm not worried about those. I can go over those in one class and you'll know how to do those.
I'm good, Miss McClure. I got it.
Okay. Now this question says, the distance from, okay, distance. First of all, distance equals rate times time, or distance equals speed times time. Now you're not going to hear a physics teacher or physicist say speed because they say speed is not acceleration, and which is not the speed and acceleration and rate are not the same. So we're going to ignore that, and rate is equal to speed in this particular problem. The distance from a planet to its moon, is approximately 278,000 miles. 278,000 miles. If a spacecraft travels at 20,000 miles per hour. So I'm going to put a spacecraft right here. I'm going to show you this in a second. 20,000 miles per hour. How many hours does it take for the spacecraft to travel to the planet? Okay, so this is just like a question that y'all ask yourself all the time. You ever been in a discussion and you have one person that says, well, I traveled from here to Panama City and it took me 8 hours. Well, there's usually a guy in the conversation that goes, I'll get there in 2.6 hours. All right. There's always that one guy, and it's usually a male, that can travel the speed of light. Okay. That's another indicator. Remember me telling you about the indicator, sunglasses inside? That's another indicator. If a guy always can go faster than everybody, run. Run as fast as you can away. Anyway, distance equals rate times time. So we've got the distance right here. We've got the rate, and we're trying to find out the time. So we can either plug and chug and solve, or we can solve, then plug and chug. I'm going to solve. I'm going to solve for t, because that's what we need to find. It says how long does it take. So if I'm going to solve for t, I'm going to divide by s or divide by r, whichever one you want to do. So t is equal to the distance divided by what? The speed, or distance or rate, or t is equal to the distance divided by the speed, whichever one you want to do. So I'm going to take 278,000 and divide it by 20,000. Now, did y'all learn a trick in elementary school about zeros and dividing? Yes, Hubert, you can cancel the zeros out. That's good, class. Y'all suck. All right.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right. So 1, 2, that's going to be 2.78 times 10 to the second power over 2.0 times 10 to the first power. Now, you don't need a calculator to divide 2 into 2.78. You should not. 1.39? Yes or no? Yes, Hubert. Times 10 to the first. And that means one place to the right, 13.9. Let's see, miles per hour. Miles, the miles cancel. And that leaves what? Hours. So it takes 13.9 hours to travel to the moon, to this planet's moon. Psst, I get there in 2.6 hours. Run the other way, females. Run the other way. That's about number 5 on a.
I feel like this example falls under any man who tries to like one up anyone.
Oh yeah, it does. That's an indicator. So if you're in a conversation and there's 2 or 3 guys and 2 or 3 girls in the conversation, and you say something like, well, I can travel blah, 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 and there's one guy that always goes, psh, I could travel in 2.6 seconds.
Or like,
no, stay away from that guy.
Or like maybe you had a bad day or something and you're telling your friends about it and they're like, oh, that wasn't that bad. I had to do this today or whatever.
Exactly, yeah. Stay away from that person too, because that person is a future mother-in-law.
Oh my God.
Shut up, Hubert. Bad Hubert. Future ex-mother-in-law. Did I say ex? Okay. All right, that's 1.06 or 1.6 after 1, so we got 6 more minutes. Let's do one more. Let's type 13.9 in. so I don't have to make my truck squat down in the back. I feel good about myself and I have confidence. All right, 13.9. Yep, my truck's going to stay just like it is. Next question. And a large waterfall
Mr.
is
Herbert.
managed so that, might as well say a
Mr.
dam.
Herbert.
Yes.
Why do you have 40 questions and I only had 25?
I'm sorry, why did what?
So when I get like my I guess like my homework for like 5.6, like I have 25.
Yeah, I'm not
questions.
on homework. I'm on
He's in the
study.
study plan.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, because like I was like super confused because I was like,
Now you're
I
good.
always, I
am I on
always
the
pull
wrong,
up.
like,
I'll tell you
place?
why I do this. Because some teachers, the lead instructor for 155, doesn't put all the word problems on the homework. So I do the homework problems on study plan. So therefore, when you see one on the test, standardized or my test, you'll know how to do it.
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry for asking the question.
That's all right.
Yeah, you're
A
good.
large dam, that's what this is, a waterfall that's managed, it's got to have a dam on it. So a large dam is managed so that a minimum of 110 feet of cubic feet of water per second flows over the falls. Find the minimum amount of water that it will flow in a 24-hour period. Now this one, you have to use unit conversions with. Now I'm not going to have time, I hope I have time to do it, but I'm going to have to show you how to set up the unit conversion, because you can't do seconds and hours with the same. You got to convert. This is per second and this is hours. So you can't mix apples and oranges and get apples. You've got to change one of them into the other. So I'm going to do a unit conversion and it'll start with 110 cubic feet over 1 second. So I'm going to put my whiteboard up and put it right here. Is this an important question? Yes, especially for you nursing students, because this is basically dimensional analysis. So 110,000 cubic feet per 1 second. That's what that means. So that first line, highlight that first line that says a large waterfall is managed so that minimum of 110 cubic feet of water per second flows over the falls. That's that right there. That's all that first sentence tells you. Now, the only way that fractions can cancel are what? We're going to go over here and I'm going to write this in red. The only way that fractions can cancel is what? Vertically and what? Diagonally. Okay, if you have 4 over 2, you can cancel, make that a, 4 over 2, and that's 2. Okay, and then diagonally, 1/2 times 4 over 3, you can cancel diagonally. Everybody with me? The only way that you can cancel fractions is vertically and diagonally. Does everybody understand that?
Yes, sir.
So that means when I set up the next part, what do I have to have on the top? What have I got on the bottom here?
Time.
Right here. What have I got on the bottom right here?
Seconds.
So I've got to have seconds up here. What's my next building block with seconds? Seconds go to what? Minutes, Hubert. Yeah, that's right, class. And then I'm going to put a fraction here. And what's going to go on top? Minutes, Hubert. What does minutes go into?
Hours.
Hours. And then, of course, I ran out of room. I'm going to have to multiply by hours, 24 hours over 1. So the hours. So what happens is, I'm going to take my green marker. The seconds cancel. The minutes cancel. And what do the hours do? They cancel. So you're left with cubic feet of water. Now we got to fill in the numbers. How many seconds are in a minute? 60, Hubert. Thank you, class. How many minutes are in an hour?
60.
60.
60.
Thank you. So now we've got 110,000 over 1 times 60 over 1 times 60 over 1 times 24 over 1, and that's cubic feet. And I've got 3 minutes, and I'm going to try to finish this problem before y'all start convulsing.
I can't see what you're doing.
I'm sorry, what?
Nothing.
Can't hardly hear you, Mr. Pack. You sound like you're under the bed or under the covers. All right. So I'm going to change this into scientific notation. 1.1 times 10 to the 5th times 6.0 times 10 to the 1st times 6.0 times 10 to the 1st times 2.4 times 10 to the 1st. Well, I'm going to take all of my same bases, and somebody tell me, what am I going to do to the exponents? Well, add the exponents, and that gives us 10 to the 8th power. And that's going to leave me 1.1 times 36 times 2.4. We're going to do this in the calculator. So I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator. And when I say I'm going to take my handy dandy calculator, that means it's okay for you to use a calculator. If I don't say that, then you shouldn't be using a calculator.
It's
So
95. Wait,
I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I'm going to do it right quick. Not that you would set me up, Miss Grindle, but some students don't know how to use a calculator and they end up setting me up and I get the wrong answer, and then we spend a lot of time, and then I go, well, what is? And then I go back, and 5 minutes later, I type it in the calculator to find out that the student initially that didn't know how to use the calculator gave me the wrong answer. So 95.04. Is that what you got, Miss Grindle?
Yes, sir.
Good. So I'm going to bring that down just a little bit. And that's 95.04 times 10 to the 8th. Leave that decimal. 9.504 times 10 to the 9th power. Now that's the answer in scientific notation. Now I'm not going to worry about, now you're going to have to, let's see what the question says. See if it says what they want it in. It says use scientific notation. Now this is very important. Some of y'all use the X right here. Some of y'all use the X. Do not do that when you type in your answers. What do you use? Well, the directions tell you what to use. The directions say use Shift 8. Use the multiplication symbol. So I'm going to type it in for you. And that's going to be 9.504 Shift 8. It'll be a dot. 10 Shift up, arrow, 9. Now I need to see if I need to put too much makeup on and have an orange face and a white neck. No, I do not, because I'm confident. Any question? Now, as far as we going, let's see, that's number 36. How many more are left? There's a few more left, so write down that we just did number 36 out of 40 because I would like to finish the 4 remaining word problems with you Friday. So somebody write down 36 of 40 out of the study plan, and we will continue. Did who was it that we were looking for attendance? Did Vanessa, was it Vanessa?
Yeah.
Did they ever come in? I'm looking right quick. Yeah, Vanessa. Did Vanessa ever come in? No. I hope he don't show up on Friday. All right. Y'all can get out of here. Have a good day. You should be working on 5.6 homework and sending questions. And we'll finish it up. Finish those 4 questions Friday and go into 10.1. Y'all have a good day and a good week. I'll see y'all Friday.
You too, Mr. Hubert.
Came in a few minutes late, by the way.
I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I also came in a couple